The second round of All-Star voting is underway, so that means it's time to try to recover from any damage that the first round caused. Welcome back to Good Sports For You, where we are talking about good sports for you. And today I am going through my ballot for the second phase of the All-Star voting. I'm back in Milwaukee, so the setup's obviously a little bit different. We're kind of running bare bones right now. The lighting, I know, will not be ideal, but we got Harvey Kuenn, one of the best Brewers managers, only one to take us to the World Series. We got Ricky Weeks, one of my favorite second basemen ever. We got Carlos Gomez, one of my favorite center fielders. Lo Cain, one of my other favorite center fielders. And then we got William Contreras. Should have been an all-star this season for catcher, but that's not the way the cookie crumbles. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go through the American League guys, then I'm going to go through the National League guys. I'm going to go in order by the least contentious to the most contentious. So these first guys I should go through, it should be a clear-cut answer. So first off, at second base for the American League, it's Ernie Clement. That's the only way it could have gone. He was the leading vote getter for the American League. And then our next position, we're going to have the AL catching position. We have Shea Langeliers versus Alejandro Kirk. I'm going to have the stats up on the side. It's only a two-horse race for each of the positions. I'm going to go through some key stats. I'm going to go through WAR, OPS plus, home runs, and then maybe one or two other key stats that I feel are important. So for catchers, you're looking at, this is absurd. I mean, it's Shea Langeliers. Put that in your ballot right now. Let me explain why. The WAR difference is 2.9 to negative 0.4. The OPS plus is 121 to 48, and then the home runs is 19 to 2. And then the games played, this is where it really matters, is 77 to 17. So not only has Shea Langeliers been better in every single aspect of the game, he's just played way, way more. And right now the voting totals is sitting at Shea Langeliers at 66%, thankfully, and Alejandro Kirk at only 34%. And then our next position, we're gonna have the ALDH. We got Yordan Alvarez and we got George Springer. For Yordan, I mean, the WAR is 3.6 to negative 0.1. The OPS plus is 185 to 86. The home runs is 25 to 8. Yordan is by far and away the best hitter in all of baseball right now. DH is just a hitting position. It should easily be Yordan, and thankfully the votes right now are backing it up. Yordan has 69% and George Springer has 31%, so that's nice there. And then our next position, we're going to have the AL shortstop. It's another laugher because this is who the Blue Jays fans voted in. We have Bobby Witt Jr. and we have Andres Gimenez. Bobby Witt Jr. is one of the best players in all of baseball right now. He's easily top 5 in MVP. He's borderline top 3. Right now, he's in like my 4 or 5 slot. His OPS plus is 132 to 80. His WAR is 4.3 to 0.9. He has the most WAR in all of the National League. This is comical. The home runs, though, are 10 to 7. The stolen bases, Bobby Witt Jr. has a huge advantage of 28 to 10. But I will give Andres Gimenez this. He does have one more RBI. So if that is really swaying your vote, so be it. But the obvious pick here is Bobby Witt Jr. And currently the voting is backing that up with 72% compared to Andres Gimenez's 28%. My next position is going to be AL first base. This one also shouldn't be close, but unfortunately it is. This is between Ben Rice and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Also, for the Toronto Blue Jays, Ben Rice has a 151 OPS plus compared to a 91 for Vlad Jr. He is a sub-average league hitter this season. The WAR is 1.6 for Ben Rice and 0.5 for Vlad Jr. Also, this is all baseball reference WAR. And the home runs, it's 22 to 4 for Vlad Jr. It's absolutely comical. Ben Rice has been the better hitter in every single aspect. The one thing that I will say is Ben Rice has had a very bad June, so he's slowed down a lot. Maybe that's hurting the voters' perception just because all of the Yankees are doing bad right now, and Ben Rice has gone from an absurdly good hitter to he's fallen back down to earth, especially in this past month of June. And the voting right now is sitting at Vlad Jr.'s in the lead with 55 compared to Ben Rice with 45. And then my next one, this is where you could honestly make an argument, is at third base. It's Junior Caminero versus Katsuma Okamoto. I easily have Caminero. It's a 155 OPS plus to a 110 OPS plus, a 3.3 WAR to a 1.9. The home runs are close though. It's 22 to 19, and the RBIs favor Okamoto. It's 49 to 53. So it's like you could make an argument for Okamoto. I don't agree. I think it should be Caminero 100%. But I definitely could see an argument. So honestly, if you're voting Okamoto, I strongly disagree. But there are a lot more egregious things that could happen. And right now, the voting, though, is Caminero is blowing it away with 67% of the vote compared to Okamoto with 33%. And now is the final position where I could definitely argue probably for about 4 players, and that is obviously in the outfield. You have Aaron Judge, Jesus Sanchez, Cody Bellinger, Byron Buxton, Mike Trout, and Dalton Varsho. Once again, 2 Blue Jays on this list. So we're going to go through the OPS pluses for each player first. Judge, it's 149. Sanchez, it's 103. Bellinger, 121. Buxton, 144. Trout, 144. And Varsho, 104. The one thing that's interesting about this as well is injuries. Judge is obviously injured. Trout has been hurt. Buxton has been hurt. I think Trout and Buxton are hurt right now, or at least Buxton has been having to sit out. I know Trout has been on the IL, but he's supposed to be back. I'm not taking that into account at all, but what will factor in is like the amount of games they've played and stuff like that. But in terms of if they're injured at the current moment, that is not valid to my argument at all, because at the end of the day, if they get voted in and they're not playing, they're not going to play. It's no different than if a player was to opt out, in my opinion. So if we're looking at the WARs as well, Judge has 2, Sanchez has negative 0.4, Bellinger has 3.9, Buxton has 3, Trout has 2.8, and Varsho has 1.3. Home runs, Judge has 17, Sanchez has 7, Bellinger has 11, Buxton has 25, Trout has 17, Varsho has 7. So for me personally, there are a couple of guys that you can get out right away, and that is Jesus Sanchez and Dalton Varsho. Obviously, they're clearly the worst players. Sanchez has been awful. Varsho, I think, is extremely underrated. Awesome. Shout out UW Milwaukee. However, he is not a player that should be an all-star this season. So that leaves it down to 4 players now, and that's Judge, Bellinger, Buxton, and Trout. There are arguments for a lot of people. The first guy that I'm going to put in, though, is going to be Cody Bellinger. Hitting-wise, he is the worst of the 4 of them. However, he has by far and away the most WAR, which does matter to me. Judge is a concern for me because he's missed so much time. Trout obviously is in the mix too. Buxton, though, is going to be my number 2 because he has the second highest OPS plus, he has the most WAR, and he has the second highest WAR. So he's going to be my 3. And then for my final spot, it's between Judge and Trout. First of all, how awesome is that to have 2 legendary players in the game being the one in the final spot? But I'm going to go with Mike Trout because he's played in more games. He has more home runs. He's just had more time to accumulate. The rate stats aren't too far behind. A 144 OPS plus compared to a 149. The home runs are the same, but the WAR is a big difference at 2 compared to 2.8. The voting right now is pretty solid. It's Trout at number 1 with 23%. It's Buxton with 20%. It's Judge with 19%. It's Bellinger with 16%, then Sanchez with 12%, and Varsho with 10%. So I agree with that for the most part. I would have Bellinger higher, but honestly, I'm totally valid. I think it's totally valid to have the 3 in the top 3 who are in right now. And then over in the National League, our first one is Shohei Ohtani at DH. Once again, he was the number 1 vote getter, so he is automatically in. The next one at third base, it's Max Muncy and Alec Bohm. This is not even close. And also the Phillies are the Blue Jays of the National League, where they voted in bums and now they're getting swept. Max Muncy is by far and away the best third baseman in the National League this season. He should easily be the starter. The WAR difference is 3.4 to negative 0.3. OPS pluses of 124 to 69. Home runs of 17 to 9. The RBIs, though, Alec Bohm, you get an argument there. 43 for Alec Bohm compared to 37 for Max Muncy. But this one isn't even remotely close. It's Max Muncy, not even close at all, right? Like I said, it's 60% to 40% in terms of voting. And then our next one, second base, we got Ozzie Albies versus Bryson Stott. Also another Philly. WAR, Ozzie Albies has him beat at 2 compared to 0.2. OPS plus 112 to 84. Home runs 12 to 7. The one thing that Stott has, though, is stolen bases. Albies only has 1. Stott has 16. If that's moving the needle for you, I don't know what to tell you. Cool, but I strongly disagree. The one thing that I will say too is that Stott has improved significantly. When I did my all-star what in the world is going on with the voting, was that like a month ago now at this point? He has improved significantly. He actually has positive WAR, so shout out to him. But right now it's Ozzie Albies all the way. 62% compared to 38% in terms of the voting. And then our next one, we're going to have shortstop. It's C.J. Abrams versus Mookie Betts. Abrams has been having a phenomenal season. Betts has picked it up so much in like the past 2 weeks. He has like a OPS that's well above 1,000. So shout out to him. But right now, literally every single stat favors C.J. Abrams right now. 2.8 WAR compared to 1.6, OPS plus of 140 to 101, home runs of 17 to 11. This one shouldn't be close as well. It's CJ Abrams at 57% compared to Mookie Betts, who's at 43%. Our next spot is going to be the catcher. We got Will Smith and Drake Baldwin. This is where you start having a bit of a conversation here or there. Personally, I'm voting for Drake Baldwin because when you look at the numbers, the WAR of Will Smith is 1 compared to 1.5, OPS plus of 105 to 124, home runs of 6 to 14. The voting right now is 61% Baldwin compared to 39% Will Smith. I think other guys should have been here though, like a William Contreras, like a Hunter Goodman, but unfortunately that's not the way the cookie crumbles. And then in the outfield, this is where you have to make some tough decisions. We got Acuna, we got Brandon Marsh, we got Teoscar Hernandez, we got Andy Pages, we got Juan Soto, we got Michael Harris II. WAR, you have Acuna at 0.9, Marsh at 2.4, Teo at 0.8, Pages at 4.1, Soto at 2.6, Harris at 2.6. OPS pluses, we got Acuna at 124, we got Marsh at 136, we got Teo at 119, we got Pages at 121, we got Soto at 171, and we got Harris at 130. For home runs, 7 for Acuna, 14 for Marsh, 7 for Hernandez, 16 for Pages, 17 for Soto, 14 for Michael Harris II. For RBIs, I included RBIs because there's one guy who's way out ahead. For RBIs, you got Acuna at 22, Marsh at 44, Hernandez at 31, Pages at 60, Soto at 39, and Harris at 43. And then for batting average, again, there's one guy that stands out. Acuna has 150 or 251, my apologies. Marsh has 322. Teoscar Hernandez has 280, Pages has 269, Soto has 301, and Harris has 297. My first guy right away that I'm voting in is going to be Soto. He's in my MVP conversation right now. He is by far and away the best hitter in the National League this season. Best OPS plus, best OPS. My second guy is going to be Andy Pages. He easily has the most WAR with an OPS that's in the 4s. He's the only guy with an OPS above 3 of these outfielders. PCA should have been here, but unfortunately, like I said, that's not the way that voting panned out, which is patently absurd. So now we have one spot left for 4 different guys. And honestly, there are a couple of guys that you can't go wrong with, and that's going to be Acuna, and that's going to be Teoscar Hernandez. So I'm taking those out. Both of those guys have sub 1 WAR. If you have sub 1 WAR, I do not think you should be in the All-Star game. They also have some of the lowest OPS pluses. So now we're down to Brandon Marsh and Michael Harris II. This is really dicey. Michael Harris has a little bit more WAR at 2.6. However, Marsh has been the better hitter at a 136 OPS plus compared to a 130. The home run numbers are the exact same at 14 apiece. The RBI numbers, Marsh has the barely lead at literally just 1 RBI. But the thing that now is coming into play is batting averages. Harris has been incredible at 297. But Marsh has one of the best batting averages in all of baseball right now with 322. For that reason, I'm going to give the nod to Brandon Marsh. And when you look at the voting totals, it closely reflects what I was saying. You got Marsh at 23%, you got Soto at 19%, Harris at 16%, Pages at 15%, Acuna at 14, and Teoscar Hernandez at 14. I personally, like I said, Pages definitely needs to be in the mix. But honestly, I'm not crazy upset. As long as Acuna and Teoscar Hernandez are in the bottom, I'm totally fine with the way it is. And then my final one, which I feel is the most contentious, is going to be the NL first base position. And that is between Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson. Both of these guys are so good and so close in so many aspects. Freeman has the better batting average. Olson is a much better slugger. Freeman has the better on-base percentage. WAR, Matt Olson has the lead, 2.5 compared to 3.2. OPS plus, it's literally neck and neck at 142 and 143. Home runs, it's 13 to 20. At the end of the day, though, there's one guy who has a little bit better WAR and a little bit better OPS plus, and that guy is Matt Olson, so I would have to go with Matt Olson. But if you want to put Freddie Freeman, that's not absurd to say whatsoever, so absolutely give him a vote. Right now, the voting is 59% to 41, which is one of the closer ones that we've seen. The only ones that's that close is shortstop. in the National League with Mookie Betts and CJ Abrams. So honestly, I think that it's good that this race specifically has, and then Vlad Jr. and Ben Rice over in the American League. But I think that it's good that Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson are kind of in a close race. Personally, I'm giving my vote to Matt Olson, and I feel that you should too. But that is what I got. Hopefully you can go out and vote for the players that actually deserve it, and make sure not to vote for the players who don't, because that's just silly. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and I'm out. Peace.